crowdfunded books you've got to check out. Now, what I love about crowdfunding books is sometimes you're getting a work from a creator that's just getting into the game. So there's great insight, there's wonderful story beats, but maybe it's not fully polished yet. And sometimes that grit is what makes it fun to read. Vigilant Fury, Julius Freeman, Anthony Gambino, just a really cool sort of.
Okay, I have no idea what happened.
I don't know what's going on. I was expecting the title to go, and then we went into the
Dude, the video didn't want to play. The video, I kept hitting play, and it kept not wanting to play. Well, here we are. Hello, everyone. Let's talk about it. Normally, I start the show with the video, and then I wanted to play Adam Lawson's little quick review of Vigilant Fury, but I didn't get audio, even though I shared the audio. I
could hear the guy.
I couldn't hear him.
I could. That's why I was wondering why you were messing around. He was very low, but I could hear him. See, this is why we test stuff beforehand.
I did test it.
Yeah.
What the heck, dude? Well, anyway, here we are. Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Talk About It. Special. This is a special edition, though. Yeah, I'm just checking my microphone settings here. I don't know why it didn't play at all. What the heck? What was up with that? Dang.
I don't know.
For those in the chat that are in the show, watching the show, you can hear us, right? Like I'm hoping that we're live. I'm hoping you can hear us clearly. Unless I might have to go on YouTube itself and actually check, because now I'm kind of concerned that maybe there's no audio going on.
Well, I can hear you. So
yeah, see, Freddie says that he couldn't hear it.
That's weird because I could hear it.
I couldn't hear it at all. But you can hear. Can you hear us, Freddie? Let me know if you can hear us.
Since he answered the question.
Oh yeah, all right. That's so strange, dude. Yeah, okay, all right. That's so weird that it didn't play, or that first of all, the intro video didn't play. That's the weird part. And so, but see, here's the Crenshaw says he can hear the video. Dude,
your computer is all messed up.
Unbelievable. All right, I'm gonna try this again. All right, here we go. But anyway, how was your week, Kyle? How was your week?
We're doing it live.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good. How about you? Besides all this technical issues, let's see.
Pretty good. Let's see.
Revenge situation.
So I can hear it right now.
Kidnapped.
It's very low.
I can't hear anything.
Massive barge, along with other children who are being trafficked to the United States here.
Chat, can you hear it?
Former military, police, etc. And
if the chat can hear it, then I guess I'll like just let it play until it ends. But if they can't hear it, let me know.
It's really almost sort of the best part of this book is how gritty and textured these lines are. The feeling of it feels like this underground comic that we used to get back in the day. Recommend.
Okay, he can hear it. Anyone else can hear it? All right, there you go. That was the end of the review for the Vigilant Fury.
So
Freddie can't hear it. What the heck, dude? What's going on here? That's so strange. That is. Oh, I think. Okay, now I know what happened.
Oh.
How about now?
Now I can't hear it.
Now you can't hear it?
I can't hear it.
Now I can hear it.
So you can hear it now.
I can hear it now. Ben can't hear it now.
Man,
dude, what the hell is going on? It's even worse. He said. Ben says he can't hear it. What's going on, man? I have no idea what's going on, guys. This is strange. I have no idea why it's doing this. I'm hoping
the computer's possessed, man.
I guess. That's so weird, dude. Because I checked my settings, my audio is connected. Yeah, strange.
Strange. Very, very strange.
Very strange. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but you can still hear me and everything because I just changed the one right now, another setting.
I can hear you.
All right.
Um,
What about those who are
it's,
watching the chat? Let me know, chat, if you can still hear me because I changed something. Yeah, I can still hear him again.
I can't.
Go to his channel and watch the video. Well, this is on his Twitter page. So if you want to check out the video, it's real quick. It's like maybe about 30 seconds that he gives his review. So he said it was good. He enjoyed it. It was very gritty. He really enjoyed Anthony Gambino's art, which I'm not surprised because that is the highlight of the book for me was Anthony's uh I guess his rookie outing. He's his first outing as a full-fledged comic book artist, and the fact that this is his first book is a testament to his talent and skill as not only an artist but a storyteller as well. Because full disclosure, the script that I wrote for this story was very loose, which was his request. He didn't want me to write a detailed script, which I'm comfortable writing both. I'm not opposed to either or. But when I asked them, because I always like asking the artists I work with what kind of strips they like to read, and because some artists are different than others. Some artists like fully detailed scripts, while others like it more loose because they get to have more fun with camera angles and sequentials and stuff like that. And Anthony just without blinking, without hesitating, was like, "Give it to me loose. I want to take a crack at see if I can really take just a basic direction as to what the character does, and I like to figure out the angle or the body language or all that stuff." So I was like, great, I'll be more than happy to do that. And so really it's again a testament to his skill as an artist.
I know it's crazy to me that you say that this is his first time
Mm-hmm.
drawing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah.
especially when you read the story and you look at his art, it does really, like, I mean, some of the panels and stuff like that he gets into in the book. It's like amazing to me that he's able to capture that many details
Yeah.
and such a small portion. It's just a small section, but yet he's able to do it with really great uh you know line work, like the video mentioned, whether or not you heard it or not. It was in his review, but
Wow.
yeah,
What
it
the heck,
really
man?
is something.
Today of all days, too. Today of
I
all
know.
days. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope that the other backers of this book also enjoyed Vigilant Fury. It was fun to write. It was fun to develop, and it was a personal challenge to me too, because had this Vigilant Fury was the first one shot story where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do just one shots going forward, and this was the first, I guess, guinea pig of that approach. But once again, full disclosure, I failed miserably because the original intent was supposed to be 40 pages. And as I wrote the story, it ballooned to 80. Shame on me. And I'm pretty sure if I was hired by a publisher, they would have fired me, no doubt, for not doing the assignment given to me. However, the upside to being a total indie creator is that I have the luxury to say, well, if it's going to be 80 pages, it's going to be 80 pages. I guess I have to pay
Right.
a little bit more out of pocket. It's all good. However, the good thing too was the fact that when I gave the script to Anthony and I told him, go ahead, if you can find a way to cut 40 pages from this, be my guest. The floor is yours. You can pretty much do what you want. And if you could do 40 pages, great. And so he read it and he came back to me a week later saying, no, we can't cut any of this. This is pretty much the story here. So we went ahead and dove in fully in, and it was bittersweet. If I'm being honest, bittersweet because it did add double the time, which what a 40
Right.
page comic book would have taken us to produce. And honestly, it worked out in the end. But at the end, we're that the veteran who was in the ground war for a few years, ready to just go home. Like he's tired, beaten,
Yeah.
has PTSD, and so by the end of it, we're like, dude, let's just get this over with. We've had this project
We've
for
been
2
through the
years.
trenches. We've been
Yeah,
through this.
yeah. We've gone back and forth. However, but again, the upside is Anthony and I did develop a strong bond, a working bond, where now we know each other's likes and dislikes. I know what he likes to draw. He knows what kind of stories I like to write, and so the next project that we are planning on doing together, it's going to be a 40-page one shot.
Is it though?
No,
Is
I made damn sure this time that if it was going to be a 40-page one shot, I'm going to rewrite it again and try to put it down to 35, just to be
just to be 100%.
Yeah, just so it could be nice and tight,
I think
and
Tom's
so
right.
60 in reality. Possibly, man, possibly, but no, I already finished the script. It's written out already, beginning, middle, and end. There is no I don't need to expand on anything. It's a straightforward action-packed story, and Gambino is he's currently doing the commissions for the backers, so you'll be getting another piece of mail soon from him, where he's going to deliver all of the commissions that he promised during the first campaign and the second one. And then after that, around summertime, that's when he's going to have time to sit down and actually develop the story I had written. So, hey, Tom. Yeah, I know, Tom. It's been a while, dude. We missed you,
forever.
Man. Yeah, we missed you, dude. So with all that said, the books have gone out. Everyone got their books with a few exceptions. I got a few return to senders, not a lot, one from each, Vigilant, Fury, and Reset Protocol. And then I'm waiting. I'm going to do the international shipping next for Vigilant Fury, the next round, because I went back to Reset Protocol because there's about 20 something people who didn't give me their address and they didn't fill out their survey. So I pretty much stuck with 20 books, both the foil and the non-foil cover. And I just today printed out the labels, and I'll be shipping those out tomorrow to the people who did answer the survey and are going to get their books soon. So I still am left with like 17 people or like 15 people or something like that. So we'll see where that takes us. But the reason, tonight's show is going to be a live version of the letters page. And as I kept on mentioning for the past month or so, is that the letters page was an important staple in comic books because it really did give editorial and writers and artists involved in certain projects for Marvel and DC an insight as to what readers thought about what they were producing. And it was a great tool because it wasn't so much that the editorial did everything that the readers asked them to do. It was more like, okay, well, let's see what's working and what's not working, and we'll put the opinions on the scale and see whether or not what we're doing for the most part is great or it's not working out.
Right.
And so more bad will probably equal, okay, we need to shift directions here because it's not working out what we're doing here. But if it's more good, then it's like, you know what, cool, let's just keep doing it because the more of the people are liking it than the people who are not liking it. And it's a sacrifice.
And whether or not it was good or bad, they still put it in the book, in the back of the book, and they still published, people's letters on whether or not, it was good or it was bad. So, and that's one of the things that we want to do here is to, like we've mentioned before in all of our, is it worth the pickups and stuff like that, is give the criticism, whether good or bad, and make it, constructive and ready to deliver in a positive way. And I think that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, absolutely. Constructive, positive.
Constructive.
So without further adu, let's get right into it. So Kyle's gonna go out. Kyle's gonna go first. He's gonna review Vigilant Fury. He didn't have time to read Reset Protocol, so he's just gonna do Vigilant Fury for now, and then at a later date he'll do Reset Protocol. And then maybe when he does Reset Protocol, I'll probably open the show up again for that episode, so that way people who missed out on this show or were too shy or just didn't want to, share their thoughts, they'll give a second opportunity to come on and give me their thoughts as to what they thought of Reset Protocol Original Theory. So Kyle, let's get started.
All right, sounds good. Well, I thought that, to get things kind of started, I don't know if you really explained a whole lot of the background and the making of this book and stuff like that. So I just wanted to see whether or not it was okay, whether or not ask some questions
Yeah,
about,
go ahead.
Some of your inspiration that you had. Like, how long did you have this story in mind when you produced, or before, when you conceptually came up with it to then now having this final product?
It was like literally, honestly, man, it was like about, I didn't have the story for long. It was really developed on the whim. It was just one of those, like I said, I had decided to want to do more one shots because I think that was a bit more viable for someone like me, someone who does comic books on the side and someone who self-finances and all that. What does Freddie say? When my book comes out, I'm going to put Kyle's review on the book. Kyle says it was man.
It's okay.
And for the record, the reason why we respect and love Dionysius, Tome of Reckoning, is because he actually came on the show.
Yeah,
he came on the show and he took Kyle's review in stride, and he sat here with us and he listened to Kyle. He explained some points that Kyle didn't understand in the book, and we asked him questions about why did you choose to do it this way, and he was very gracious with his answers. And again, he showed up, him and Ben Soto too. Ben also came on the show, and so kudos to both of them, and as well as oh gosh, I forget his name. We had him on Starlight. Hold on, give me a second. I want to butcher him. I want to upset him. Tony James from Star Noir.
That's right. Yes.
So, yeah, dude, it was honestly just like I said. I had already I already made up my mind. I'm gonna do one shots going forward. The next crowdfunding project is gonna be a one shot because like I said, in where I'm at right now financially, I can't afford to do multi books. I can only afford to do one.
Right.
So I sat down and I said, okay, what should the story be? And I said, well, it should be something involving a lot of action,
right?
Which I got. And then the second thing was, the second thing was I'm a big fan of escape, the escape genre, like the genre where the hero is captured and they have to find a way to escape their captivity. Die Hard is one example of that. Aliens is another example of that. The Great Escape, the famous Golden Age Hollywood movie starring Steve McQueen, is another example of that. Escape from Alcatraz, Clint Eastwood. So I've always been a fan of that genre. So I was like, I want to do something like that, something where the character has to find a way out to their freedom, to their salvation, and that's pretty much where it came from. So I had developed this story called Vigilance. It was a screenplay I was working on, and then I just kind of Crenshaw. There you go, Home Alone. Home Alone is another prime example of that. So I had this story I was working on called Vigilance, and I was gonna just adapt that into a comic book. And I was like, I'll just make this into a comic book, and then I could use the screenplay later in case the book, the story takes off. And as I was telling my wife this idea, she's like, what if you make him a girl? And I was like, oh, a girl. I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
What about that?
And so I was like, you know what, that's interesting. And so then, but to see what happened was now I had to change the entire story. And so then I just decided, okay, I'll just take the basic idea I have in the story Vigilance with this male character that I had been writing, and I just transformed it into a woman. I put her in a whole different situation. and the seed of the idea was a news article I read about 10 years ago. It was a news article from the BBC where I guess in the Long Beach port, some port worker found a secret door inside one of the what do you call it in the vessels, the not the crates. Why am I going blank today?
I don't know.
Dang, man.
Your computer's off. You're
Yeah, I'm
going.
like, I'm
Listen.
off and everything. The those long gosh, I feel like
Shipping
Homer
containers?
Simpson.
What are you trying to say?
The things that
Describe.
they have in the help me out here, chat. Come on, back me up here. In the ships, the container. Thank you, Ben.
Shipping
The
containers.
container.
Yeah, we've been saying. I was saying shipping containers, but you're like.
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh, man.
I mean,
yeah, and thank you, cargo. Yeah, cargo, damn it.
I guess my AI app is malfunctioning.
Yeah, it's
He's
malfunctioning.
glitching out.
Yeah, and the cargo and he found a bunch of old clothes, found bottle of water, found food, found buckets where they they went to the bathroom in, and that started okay, I could use this, and then that's where I built it from there, and then that's it, and then I went from there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I mean, whenever I bring this book up to anybody that I talk to, and either at conventions and stuff like that, the way that I always like try to like in one sentence sum it up is it's Die Hard on a boat.
There you go.
And so
there you go.
And I'm glad to see that at least you even you say that, yeah, Die Hard, Home Alone, some of these Escape from Alcatraz are some of these influences that you had in making this story, and I think it plays very well into what you created here, and especially liking the twist and the fact that it is a woman that is going on this whole ordeal that she goes on. And so getting into the story, we find that, Angela here is, pretty much acting like a average, everyday type of girl going throughout her day until the unexpected happens, which
Of course.
it always
Yeah.
does,
Yeah.
Otherwise it wouldn't be a story if that didn't happen.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of just a really boring book if it's just literally the whole book is just her going home to work to home to work.
Yeah. That's just real life. That's just real life.
Unless you're Seinfeld, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then obviously her whole world gets turned upside down, where she gets taken, put into this strange place that she doesn't know what's going on, and then we come to find out, oh, she's not alone. She's there's other people around. Maybe they're not so friendly. Obviously they're a little handsy with her.
Yeah.
And that sort of sparks something with her, and then she knows that, okay, this is time to act, and she does. And then,
yeah, she definitely does.
And I just want to take a minute and say, yes, the action and the poses, and especially some of the facial expressions. We'll get into all the facial expressions in it, but I just want to say that, yeah, Gambino's art really does shine with facial expressions.
Yes.
And that's another key point to this, that it really helps, is that the flow and the ease to which you can read this story is superb. Because as you may have known, I may have, like gone and seen some early drafts of this as it was coming out. So one of the versions that I read was one where there was no dialogue at all, where I was just given the art itself. And I really commended both your ability to not influence, but to educate or direct. That's the word. Direct Gambino in his sequential art, that where even without dialogue, I was still able to understand the story and able
Good.
to follow it.
I'm glad to hear that.
And I think that's a real testament to, I think, how strong of a story you have here. And like I said too, with Gambino's art, as you'll see with some of the panels here, and not just here, but just in the book, the scale that he's able to put this container ship in with everything is really, really fantastic. Now, this story is sectioned into 3 sections, which I think was really well done because it kind of makes sense both thematically and uh, within, writing standpoint of 3-act structure, basically.
Yeah.
And it's divided into 3 acts. Obviously, was that something you had going into it in mind when you were creating it?
No, it was part of the process. Part of the creative process that I always find very see, there I go again, going blank again. I had the
Come
word.
on, dude, you got
It's very satisfying. Is that you have a rough idea, you outline your major points, your major plot points, and you have to fill in in between the major plot points. And as you're doing that, you discover what I call happy accidents.
Yeah.
Which is like you work on it, and then you work on it so much, and you're continuously working on it over and over again, where finally you go, hey, this is actually a pretty cool idea. And this was Anthony's idea. Anthony was the one who came up with this design because I gave him, what I did was, he's like, hey, what does this ship look like? And I was like, okay. So I drew like a very terrible outline and like sketch of like, okay, here's how I envision it in spatial spatial wise, right?
Yeah.
Is 3 levels, has this many rows, there's rooms here, the ship is this long, so that way we could explain why it takes her not that much time to like run when she runs to to the all levels. And so he gave me this, and I was like, hey, this is pretty cool, I like this. And then it stuck with me, and I was like, oh, I like this, I want to use this. And then finally, first it was supposed to be chapters, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. But then right when we got to the end where we're about to print,
yeah,
I was like, hey, what if instead of chapters we do level 1, level 2, level 3? And he's perfect. Let's go with that. And
yeah,
and that was it. And then
and
the little subtitles here, good to know. And the next one, I think it was Gone Hunting, were again last minute. It was one of those things where it was like, let's label these, let's name these chapters, so that way when readers get to this chapter and they read it, this title will be in there somewhere, or kind of showcase and give you an idea what to expect. And it worked out. It actually worked out really cool.
And I think that really helped it a lot, as also what, as you're about to point out, ID Crisis says that the map inserts give the book about like a dash of video game. Like you're going through levels. It's like, okay, level 1, here's the bad guys you're going to face. Level 2, here's the bad guys you're going to face. Level 3, the boss fight,
that and again, a happy accident. That was not planned. It just worked out.
Which is, I mean, that's what's so funny about when you're in creativeness, or just in general stuff, just the way things just coincidentally work themselves out like that. And I think that's what really was really a great accident that happened, because it helped the story a lot, especially with breaking down, like you said, like the structure and getting it into these different sections. You're able to really focus in on where Angela is throughout the story, and then specifically also within the ship. And so, we see the dynamic between the crew members and the main antagonist, Milo, who, sends off all his goons to make sure that nothing is going wrong. And we find out, that's not some stuff. At least from their perspective, stuff's going wrong. And so, if you want to go back up real fast, these 3-shot panel. No, the 3-shot with the.
Okay, gotcha. This one.
Yeah, that one. This shot right here is one of my favorite panels where you can, the fuzziness of, you can just imagine him, with fuzziness, it's pitch black night. And then I think what was really great is Gambino taking that lightning bolt and using it as the main source of light
Yeah.
throughout some of these panels,
Yeah.
because it really emphasizes the dynamic poses that he has. And so I just wanted to take a pause there and say that I really did like that.
Oh, I'm sure he
Um,
appreciates it.
There was, I'll mention it here, but there's more shots later on where I'll touch onto it. It's more later at the end. One
Okay.
of the things that I did notice when reading through it, as great as Gambino is, there is some inconsistencies in Angela's facial expressions. Now, they are still great facial expressions,
Yeah.
just sometimes that they are not necessarily fitting with what I think the moment calls for.
Ah, gotcha.
Um,
Yeah.
is there anything like that that you can think of that you noticed when you were working with him? Like, how did that happen when you were talking with him?
Yeah. I would have to, again, this is his first book, so he's still relatively new to all this, and I would call attention to it and remind him, like, we got to make sure when I told him, when I have to letter this, I have to make sure that when I write whatever she's saying, whatever she's thinking, it's got to match with her facial expression at that particular, shot or
Right.
panel, because that's the whole process of trying to create the reading experience for the reader. I always try to tell him, like, just like because he loves Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb's Last Halloween book. That's one of his
Yeah.
favorites. And so
And I love it too.
yeah, I mean, who doesn't love it? It's a
Right.
classic. And so I told him, that was, they were able to, like, pull you into that world, and you're, like, literally there in that world watching it in that setting, and you got to feel a lot of the pain from a lot of the characters. You get to feel their anger and all that. So I said, that's what I had to remind them, like, every time, like, just that's what I want to capture. I want to capture emotion here. We
Right.
got the story down, we got the pacing down, but now we need to capture emotion, and that's all in the facial expressions and body language and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just little things here and there that, creative choices also on his part, where he did a creative choice, and I typically don't like to get in the way of that when it comes
Yeah.
to a collaboration, because a lot of the time, as in my experience producing comics, is that it's a lot better just to stand back and be like, you know what, ride that wave, man, ride it. I'm not
Just
gonna get in the
you
way.
do you, man.
Yeah,
You
I'm
do
not gonna get
you.
in the way of your, you riding that wave, because that, shame on me if I do. So I tend to just, okay, you know what, I'm gonna let it sit. I may not like it personally, but I'm gonna let it sit because that's his expression, and I want
Right.
readers to see that as well, not just my as a writer, like I created or whatever. I want readers to also appreciate his ability to try some things, try some things out and see if it works or not.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned, like, going along with that, um, if you did back this book, I believe you also get at the back of the book some panels on,
Hmm.
how it originally looked like. And so both this version of the book, and you can see a preview of how it used to look like. You mentioned how, trying new things, the basic, how this book looks right now was because he wanted to try something new, and it
Hmm.
ended up working out really well.
It did. It really did. Part of me wished. Now that you mention it, now I can't unsee it. No, that was not the intention. But again, it was one of those things. That's Gambino's design. Again, the script was so loose. I didn't give full details as to who these characters were, how they looked, what they dressed like. That was all Gambino. He did all
Right.
that. And again, it was like, I'm gonna let you do it, man, because you're eager, you're hungry, and you're ready. So I'm just go for it. Just go for it. So
Yeah. See, this facial expression is one of the ones where,
this one.
yeah, it just looked a little off to me.
Yeah,
Just
no, yeah, it was it was supposed to be an expression of like, how can I describe angry tears. So she's both scared and angry at the same time, and I would imagine that's hard for an artist to be like, well, how can I draw that? What does that look like?
Yeah.
You know,
I
an
guess more
angry tear, like
determined, I guess.
yeah, like kind of like yeah, determined, exactly. Like it was her, it was supposed to be a moment where she tells this little girl, I'm scared too. Like you're
Right.
not just because I did what I did, right? Killing the two guys and then killing the third guy, now I got the info. I'm still freaking scared, just like you. It's just, I'm the adult. I have to do this.
Yeah.
And it didn't translate well for this one. So, but again, I let it go because at the end of it, where I was like, this is just go, get this out.
Well, and I think it's really great within the story that we do have these children, and we learn, a little bit more about them and their how they got there. I think a little later on in the story, we learn how they uh, like sort of their background on some of this stuff,
A
which
little
is
bit, yeah.
yeah, which I think is great. And then here we get to introduce to Milo, which uh is type of figure. What was some of the design elements that you were telling Gambino to come up with when designing this character?
Not much, honestly. I just told him that Milo. The way I described it was like I told him this story is the story of Theseus. Theseus in the maze of the old Roman myths, who fights the Minotaur. Short Minotaur, short for Minotaur is Mino, Mino. So I thought, okay, Milo. I'll just call him Milo. So I told him he's the bull of this metallic, maze that Angela is in. So I think he's all a bull. Okay, so I got to draw him big. However, his hairstyle and beard, according to Anthony, he told me that it's based off of Benjamin Soto's brother, Justin Soto.
Oh,
So,
seriously?
yeah. So he like designed Milo based on Justin Soto's like actual look. Benjamin, if you're still here, will you confirm that? Is your brother bearded with long hair like this?
And then also, Ben, you gotta tell your brother you gotta sue him for copyright infringement. Likeness of him.
That's what Anthony told me. So I dug it again. He gave me the design. I was like, this is perfect. I dug it. I dig it.
Nice. Well, and I think that it definitely suits the character very well. He looks like a bad guy. Not saying that Ben's brother looks like a bad guy. Just saying that character design for him and with all the other goons and stuff like that really do a good job of it. Showing their, I guess, their position almost in a way, because you obviously get their lower position. They're the ones wearing the jumpsuits. I forgot what his name was. What's this?
I think this
coat
was
guy?
Greg.
Greg.
I
He's
think
sort of like the number 2 type guy.
Yeah.
And then you get Milo, of course, being the boss. Confirm he's about 3 feet shorter, which that's another interesting point since you brought it up. Another thing that I did notice that was a little inconsistent was the heights and sizes of the characters seem to fluctuate throughout the story. Especially in Angela, because in some panels, especially towards the end, and I'll point it out when we get there, she is exactly the size that I imagine her to be throughout the story. But then other times when she's fighting people, she's almost like way bigger than the people that she is. And I always, imagine her as, very small, probably like, 5'2", and maybe 5'3".
That's something that I will mention to Anthony. I'll send this video because that's something that Anthony needs to hear. Because again,
right.
I that's also my fault too. As the editor, I should have caught that. And told him, hey, we got to keep her height consistent. She's tiny. We have to keep drawing her tiny because we want to, convey to the reader that she's really, the odds are truly stacked against her. So
Yeah.
that's my fault. I'll take responsibility for that one because I should have caught that. And I should have told Anthony, hey, let's keep her short. Let's keep her tiny. And so I didn't. So that's my bad. My bad for that.
Well, also in terms of the story wise, there was another thing that I forgot to mention early on, which was, um, the story does follow similarly to like Die Hard, where it starts off with him, normalcy, going to meet his wife, and then
Yeah.
all this stuff ensues. You had mentioned to me, at work and stuff like that, that you had toyed with now that you have finished the book, you have toyed with the idea that maybe you should have started with her already, the book starting with her in the
Yeah.
in the actual
Yeah.
container with the people, and then going back
Yeah.
and showing how it happened. Now, is that something you'd rather prefer you did, like in the story wise? Because, like, for me personally, I think it works the way it is. But when you did mention that potential way to change it, of like starting with her in the actual container, I do think that probably would have been the better start for this story, because it
Right.
works for a movie in terms of doing it the slow, rise and stuff like that. But in a comic book, you kind of want that initial, jolt of, oh, we're already in action, we're ready to do this.
Yeah. It wasn't so much. Yeah. This is what happens to all writers.
Right.
They write it out and then they put it out there for the world and it's already consumed by readers, and then afterwards they'll be like, oh, if I could just done this, it would have been better. And that's just something that's like a curse I think all writers have after they let go of what they produced. And so part of me, of course, like that's for anything. That's for Ghetto Dragon, Reset Protocol. That's for anything that I've written where I'm like, oh, I wish I would have added maybe 1 or 2 more pages here with this, and it would have been a little better.
Right.
So I wish I could, but here it is. We're here, and so there's no going back to change it. But however, I did, kind of broke my own rule because I'm a proponent of get hook the reader as quickly as possible. And at the time I thought her kidnapping will be strong enough, which it is. It's still strong enough because that's terrifying for any girl or any person to be kidnapped and taken to a place that you don't know what's going to happen to you. It's terrifying. So I thought it was a strong enough hook anyway.
Right.
But yeah, upon reading it again this is like the 10th time I've read it.
You want to pause right here for a sec too? Continue your thought. Just pause right there.
Okay. Yeah, and so I just thought, okay, if I had started to hear it, it probably would have been a stronger hook. But that's it. That's pretty much it.
Well, and like I mentioned too, it works the way that it is written right now. Like you mentioned, it does it does work like that. But yeah, it is an interesting sort of thought of like, yeah, well, that could have also been a great, opening as well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to highlight this. Was it this? I think this panel. No, it's the next one down. I think the next panel shot after this one.
Oh, after this one.
Yeah, after this one. So this panel sequence, I enjoyed. I liked seeing him slowly falling down.
Yeah, I dug that too.
Holes.
That was all Gambino. That was all Gambino. In the script, I wrote that he's full of holes and he falls over, and then we revealed that it was her the whole time, not his colleague.
Yeah,
and so he's the one that came up with this angle, and I was like, dude, this is great. I'm digging this. So yeah, here's the part where it's all the action, pretty much.
I know that's level 2, so there's lots of action, lots of guys being, taken out and stuff like that. This portion of the section here, so part of the story wise, like it makes sense in my mind, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Angela here, she took her boots off so that she could be more stealthy, which I understand also seems like a very big callback to Die Hard,
of course.
But she took her shoes off, so she's barefoot and stuff like that, so that she can be more agile and stealth. But then when she gets to this section here, and then we have the great shot with her, running with the knives, she screams, "Hey!" If you're like, in my mind, you're taking all these steps to be stealthy, and then like right at the last moment, you're like, "Hey guys, I'm right here," and then Sam, it's like, it's like,
my thinking when I wrote this scene was that she obviously you got that, you picked up on that. She took off her shoes because she was going to enter the level where it's a bit more echoey, even though she stepped in the puddle there. But I think that was an image choice. So my thinking was that she snuck like a ninja running towards her next target, and the reason why she screams out "Hey" was for him to turn around and get the front shot. That was the idea.
I guess it could have,
But
just
it
as
didn't
easily
land.
just
Obviously, it didn't land.
yeah. I mean,
in my head, it landed. In my
Right.
head, because that's how I imagined it. Like because that's why Anthony drew him here with his back towards us.
Yeah.
Like, and then her screaming "Hey" was for him to turn around. But maybe now that you mention it, probably like, I could have added another panel where I show him turn around, shocked.
Yeah.
And then go here.
What I think would have been really cool to see would be, so he's behind, he's guy's back to her, she's running at him stealthily, and then either he turns around or you can have it be where he's facing back, but like she like, I imagine when she's doing that, like her like jumping towards him, almost like tackling him, but with the knives out like this, so like stabbing him as he's pushing her, as her whole momentum is going down.
That was the first draft of this scene.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought it was too, I don't know, why did I thought this was a bit better because I wanted it to be quick, 1, 2, 3, boom, and go, which is what this shot was here.
Okay.
And so, that was the first draft. Like her jumping, doing the knees to the chest, and then stabbing him, and then landing on him, and doing the flip and all that stuff. Well, I think now in hindsight, I probably should have kept that draft because, but again, it's like it was just a creative choice. I was like, no, I think it might be better to have Gambino draw this instead. And this sequence is my favorite. This sequence right here is my favorite.
Oh, really? Okay. Out of all the sequences, this one was the one that,
in terms of action, because I'm a hey, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Boom, 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 and let's go.
Right. So yeah, I mean, Freddie says that, another thing was that she's telling herself that she has the element of surprise, and then the hey.
I know. Another thing too, subtextually, is the whole like, look at me when I kill you. That was the idea.
Yeah.
I want you to look at me when I take your life, because you're going to take mine, and not only mine, but the kids who are also with me in the container. Again, it's one of those missed opportunities where I could have maybe written a narration box of her thoughts, of her saying that. So, well, if it isn't the book featuring my likeness, my lawyer will be subbing to this channel soon.
I mean, he admitted it on camera. We got recorded, so
it's by coincidence.
The coincidence, yeah. It's just happy accident. So we see, what else do we have here? Some of the so this shot here with the blood shooting through him and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought that maybe it could have been drawn a little bit better. It kind of looks like the blood looks a little lightning, look like electricity, like he's getting shocked instead of it being blood. In my personal opinion, that's kind of way it kind of looked, but it worked. It's fine. And then there was another portion right here, right below it, where the shadow of him kind of looks like, it's just weird positioning, because it looked like, is it blood or is it it's the shadow of the
shadow
guy?
It's a shadow.
Okay.
It's a shadow. It's Angela's shadow.
I think it could have been a little bit more defined as Angela, because it just looks like either a grease spot or blood.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of get that when it goes over his body here.
Yeah, I thought that when that happened, it was more of like a miscoloring, almost like something.
Yeah, this is the remember, Gambino changed his style from stark black and white to this ink wash, and so maybe
Yeah.
this was like his attempt to do shadow as the ink wash, and it just wasn't. It just maybe didn't work out as well because
Right.
I remember I did tell him like, what is this, dude? Is this like a it's just like a spot, and he's like, oh no, it's a shadow. And I was like, okay, well, with ink wash, I've never done ink wash. I never drawn like that at all, so I don't know what the difficulties are. Um, see, Justin says, I think a stronger light source may have helped convey it is a shadow. Ah, there you go. There you go. See, that's artist lingo that I don't know how to
Mhm.
convey to the artists I work with, which also, during this production, I did tell myself I'm gonna actually study art a lot more just so I can understand like the terms. So that way when I do
Right.
have something that I want to convey, I can convey it clearly to the artist I'm working with because I have to rely on reference pictures and stuff. But this is not a reference picture problem. This is an artistic style problem here. Like what
Yeah.
tools does he need? Justin here said that he needs a lighter, stronger light source. And for me, like, yeah, that makes sense. But for the artist, like, well, I don't know what that means. Personally, like, do
Mhm.
you make the shadow darker? Do you like put the light? Again, see, I don't know. I have no idea how to like convey that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fine the way it is, but it could have been more defined, I guess.
Mm.
And so this also was part of the inconsistency in terms of sizing that
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Hmm.
and now also this brings up an interesting point too, that this is where she starts to actually get pretty hurt throughout the story
Yeah,
from here on out. Now, uh I mean, we're already like pretty like not close to the end per se, but we're getting there. And so did was there a reason why we didn't see her struggling or having any other stuff in towards the beginning that she was dealing with up until
yeah,
this point?
because it was reversed. She was hunting them down. So the whole it was all subtle, and I wanted
Yeah.
to be subtle. That was on purpose, which is her when she tells the kids, "We can probably get out of this, but you got to do exactly what I tell you to." And so that happens off screen. And what happens off screen is that she takes off and starts to explore the area so that way she won't get lost.
Yeah.
And so her advantage was the fact that they were going to come looking for her. And at the same time, she has a radio that she has
Right.
that they don't know that she has. So she's listening where they're going. And the idea was sneak attack. She's a woman. She can't face these guys head on. The Mary Sue trope that was brought upon us by the Disney Star Wars trilogy with
Mm.
Rey was something that kind of in a lot of ways it kind of ruined a lot of the female led stories that were at one point were really good. People still love Aliens and Ripley, and
Right.
people still love Terminator
Oh
because
yeah.
the women were strong women, but they were still women though. Linda Hamilton's character breaks down after she tries to kill Dyson. Right? She has a total breakdown, and she's
Yeah.
overprotective as a mother in the second
Yeah,
one.
because she's also seeing his son and his wife right there.
Exactly. And then in the first one, she's a very meek, very soft, one. But at the end, she gets tough because I mean,
Situation calls for it.
yeah, it's a situation calls for it. Same thing with Aliens. So I wanted to stay away from that. I wanted to stay away from like her being like taking out the guys like easy. And it's like, no, that was the writing challenge that my wife pretty much inadvertently presented to me, which was, why don't you make it into a girl? Because then I was like, oh yeah, that'll make it more, the stakes will go higher because I'll write her like a regular girl who just has to survive. So that's why.
Yeah.
That's why I waited until the end for her. Once Milo figures out, oh, dude, she's been like using radios to listen to where we're going, and then that's why he tells him turn off the radios.
Yeah.
This page that you're on was unclear to me. Why is she coughing up? This is a miscommunication between me and
Yeah.
Gambino, man. in the script, I called for her spitting out a tooth because in this panel right here, she gets punched in the mouth, a clean shot to the mouth. So I wrote spit out blood in terms of like when someone loses a tooth. And Anthony drew this. And again, it was right at the wire. It was right to the point where we're doing our last edits. We wanted to get this book printed and done, and I just let it go. And in hindsight, I should have just been like, "No, Anthony, I'm sorry, dude, but she's spitting out a tooth, not throwing up blood."
Right.
And the reason why I let it go too is because of this shot right here, the knee shot to the ribs. But in hindsight, that doesn't happen. Maybe throw up. I don't know. Like I just kind of took it as like it's up for interpretation at this point for the reader. But
everybody seems to come up with a different answer.
Yeah, I know. But now that I know, it's okay. Now that you guys know, the script called for her spitting out her tooth from that punch in the face. The way she's holding her stomach looks like she was stabbed. That too, but that was because of the knee shot to the ribs. And once again, shame on me as editor of this book. I did add a crack here. Actually, no, that's right. I did add a crack here, and Anthony took it out, and I don't know why he took it out. But there was a SFX word here is crack to indicate that he cracked her ribs.
And that's another thing too. That since you brought it up, there were numerous parts throughout the story where I feel like more of that the POW or the what is that term called again? That like
SFX. Sound effects.
Yeah, sound effects.
Yeah.
The sound effects either weren't pronounced enough or were not there that could have emphasized it even more. Like you just mentioned though. And so I'd have to go, we have to go back all the way through, but
this was an ironing out process between me and Gambino. Now it's going to be a lot more comfortable. So the next project that we do work on together is going to be a lot more, straightforward, a lot more transparent. We're not now that we know each other's temperaments, and we're not temperamental or anything. But I'm just saying that now that we understand that we're not going to get offended or mad if we challenge each other's creative choices, because I'm pretty easy to work with. If I'm being honest. Whenever I work with an artist, I'm very easygoing, very laid back, and I'm always open to, hey, look, if you read my script and you don't like this certain sequence or you don't like this certain panel, then you're gonna have to present me at least 2 or 3 different options that you think will work better. Because if not, then you're just complaining to me. That was something that was taught to me by an old manager of mine, who he pretty much shared the story. Like, if you have a problem with what we do, how we do things here, don't come to my office and complain. You better come into my office and offer me 3 different options as to what we could do to make it better, or else don't waste my time. And I always liked it. That always stuck with me. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So
don't bring me a problem unless you also bring me a solution with it.
Exactly. So now that we both know that that's how we are, then I think the next book is going to be like, I don't want to say 10 times better than this. I'm just saying like it's going to be a lot more smoother, the working relationship between Gambino and I. Onomatopoeia, yeah, I think we liked a lot more of that too, Crenshaw. I did realize that upon reading it again. I was like, yeah, I should have a lot more onomatopoeias throughout the book. You know what that is, Kyle? Or you're just nodding like you're like, yes, onomatopoeias.
Yep. I know it, but I'm brain dead right now, so I don't know what it can.
It's the lines, that the artists add whenever like someone's shocked. They have the little lines. That's onomatopoeia, or the swirly lines when someone's knocked out.
Yeah,
those are onomatopoeias.
So, well, good to know, and good to for all those in the audience, and not me, all those people in the audience.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, I shared the link, so if you want to come on and join us, I know because we're in the hour, so I just want to get people in if you guys want to come in and not just review Vigilant Fury, but if you have thoughts for a Reset Protocol, then come on in and let me know what you guys think of it. But go on, Kyle. Keep going.
Let's see. So we get some more continue on in the story, some more danger for the kids in this section.
Oh,
Um,
our first one.
all right.
What's up, Freddie?
Hey.
What's up? Hold on.
Keep going, Kyle, while he
Okay,
figures it
so
out.
we see the more
Okay.
danger from the kids, and like I said, that this fight scene with this character, especially in the next page,
Mhm.
that
This one
panel
or
right
the next
there.
page?
No, that one. No, go back up.
Okay.
And that, and well, the both those. That one. This is the proper scaling that
Right.
I was
Right. Yeah.
imagining
Yeah.
Angela. So this is the I was talking especially in that this is the type of fighting that I was expecting her to more utilize throughout the story.
I see. Yeah, like I said, I thought about that, but I was thinking, within the confines of where they're at, they're all using radios, and if she, the ship looks large, but in all, like, when I looked at the logistics of the fictional ship that she was going to be in, it's large enough, but it's not that large, but it's not that large enough where she's able to run away and hide in many places,
Mhm.
because they have the advantage in that department because they work there. They know where everything's at. She doesn't know where she would be, hide well in that area. They will eventually find her. So that's why it had to be sneak attack in the beginning. And then when she gets here, she's already taken out most of the people looking for her. So now she can do this.
Yeah.
Oh, also, can I add something real quick?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Of course.
Go
All
for it.
right.
Yeah.
So, credit to Julius. Before this, when I subscribed to Vigilant Fury, I was going through where was it? Kickstarter or Indiegogo?
No, it was Indiegogo.
Indiegogo, and I was looking at some of the pages. And could you go up?
Yeah.
Right here, this page, this
Mhm.
panel. So I saw on Indiegogo that her knee went behind his leg.
Oh
and
yeah,
he
that's
looked-
right. That's right.
And it kind of looked like he would have thrown his back out if they would have done the first draft. And I told him it'd be better if he was like in between her legs, and he went ahead and conveyed it to Gambino,
Yeah.
and they went ahead and did it. So I
Yep.
mean, yeah, Julius, he does listen to us.
Yeah, that's right. He Freddie DM'd me. I don't know if it was on Twitter or if it was on Instagram.
Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Instagram. He's like, hey, her knee is behind his leg, and it just doesn't look right. And also, yeah, like you say, it's gonna give out his back. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right, because then it'll smoothly transition to this move.
Right.
If her legs are be in front of his leg here, or her leg. And so, yeah, during the edit, I made a note of it, and then that one, when Gambino and I made our last final edits, that was on my note, and so Gambino, changed it. And thank you for that, Freddie. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I didn't
cool.
realize that, because that's one of the like my favorite shots of favorite panels was that scene, that panel
Yeah.
that you're just talking about. And so yeah, it made it a whole lot better seeing it with the leg behind instead of what it was before.
Yep. And the action was great on the book, man. It was
Thank
awesome.
Is there anything that stuck out to you that maybe you didn't like but didn't work for you, or
any topics that we were talking about?
Anything that you want to add to what Kyle has been saying?
Yeah.
Or your own thoughts, like your own takeaways from reading the story.
All right, so I got a few things I actually wrote down. Like the one thing that you mentioned about how you could have started it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have other ways that you could have started it. Could have had like a black panel when she's talking to herself, or like one where it's like close up to her blindfolded. And maybe
that could have been a good one. Yeah.
Maybe another thing too is like, instead of like having flashbacks to where she was actually partying, maybe just let the party, like that whole sequence, ride that whole sequence, and then she gets kidnapped, and then you go into the container. So maybe that part, but like the way you said, that was another one too, where you could have the one that you just mentioned earlier. This is another one.
Ben?
Hey guys.
I got, of course, Dora the Explorer on there.
I didn't realize that until you pointed it out.
Yeah,
very true.
I'm like-
again, it was that was Gambino. He had reins on designing the characters because I didn't really have any idea of what the characters look like
Mhm.
except Angela. Angela was the only one where I knew. Okay, it's short, long black hair, very fit. The original the original draft, she was supposed to be a Mossad agent from Israel.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you
So
saying that on the 656 page.
yeah, and then we changed it because of what happened, obviously. So
Yeah.
we changed that, and I think we changed it for the better because it was just better to just stay away from all that noise.
Got you. Another thing, I think Milo said stat one too many times. I think I don't know if anyone caught that. Where I think he tells his second in command, he's like, "Go get
15-minute stat. Yeah.
Well, and then when he's telling the soldiers, it's like he just discovered the word stat, And
It was the word of the day.
The word of the day.
Okay. No, I
then-
do have a bad habit of using like my thinking is like I like to write characters where they have something that's connected to their character.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say.
But
is
obviously, stat was one of those words where I'm like, I didn't want him to be, attached to stat. it was probably one of those things where I overlooked it when I edited the dialogue.
Yeah, because I could imagine the crew. They're like, "Hey, Bobby, could you hand me that flashlight stat?" And they're like,
It's dinner time.
That's fair.
Stat.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
What else I got? Hold on. Oh, another one. Why was Angela the only adult captured? Like that was a weird. Like, is there other containers with adults in them, or?
I don't. That's one of those things where I didn't really think it through when I wrote it. I thought it because again, this goes to what Kyle mentioned earlier about her size.
Mhm.
I was my thinking was maybe the kidnappers thought she was younger than what she was,
Okay.
and they sold her. They sold her to the people who take that age demographic when they do traffic kids, or maybe they just thought she was just a tiny woman that she'd be easy to sell as younger than what she is. That was my thinking when I was thinking like it put myself in the shoes of the kidnappers when I was writing the script.
Because like when the shipping yard, the one that Gambino had, were the levels, right?
Yeah.
Like when I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool because, like, if you ever wanted to do where you wanted to sell floppies and like you could cut this book up in like three floppies, right?
Right. Yeah.
You obviously understand that it's level 1 and then level 2, but also it increases in difficulty.
Right.
I kind of feel like if there was like another adult, like maybe like a small dude who had like a Napoleon complex, is like, I'm not listening to no girl or anything. It would have added some type of like.
But see, then the story would have been 100
longer.
pages.
Yeah,
Right.
And then you just mentioned that it was supposed to be a short, like 40 page.
Oh yeah, short.
So,
and if I had did stuck with 40 pages, the story wouldn't have.
Yeah.
It would have felt rushed. Let's just put it that way.
Let's see. And then I was gonna like the walkie-talkie. I think you mentioned it where because I know that she kills one of them with a rope by hanging them, and she lured them in with the trap with the walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'm like, why isn't like everyone else hearing this if Milo just told everyone to turn it off? But then I realized that you could change the frequency and they could only have
and the kids. Remember the shot where the kids where she takes off running down the stairs and the kids have like the smile on their face holding the walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
It's because that's part of the plan. That was part of the plan to help her out, I guess.
Right. And then the last thing, and the book was great, but there's one other thing that I like a minor, like I guess mess up on one of the word bubbles a little bit higher up when she was killing. I think it was Jimmy. There was 3 panels where the text on the bubbles were too small. I don't know if you guys caught that.
When he's trying, are you talking about Jimmy, the guy who walks to the walkie-talkie?
No.
Or are you talking about like an actual like legit editorial like mishap of the size of the
yeah,
font?
it was a legit editorial mess up. I'm looking for it. Hold on, I think I'm looking for it. Here we go. It's where, yeah, this is Jimmy. I don't know if you guys can see this right here. Right
Okay,
underneath.
yeah. The idea with those was that he's supposed to faintly hear the walkie-talkie, the sounds coming from the walkie-talkie. That was the idea of why I shrunk the font size.
Ah, makes
Oh,
sense.
I
All
see.
right.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm hearing something, I'm hearing like people talking, so maybe they're over here, right? And that's what causes him to walk over, and then he sees the walkie-talkie, you know, on the rope, and it's like, what the hell? And then that's what he
Yeah.
calls it in, but then he gets
But like,
hung.
then I guess the bubbles should also been smaller. I think.
Did I not put the bubble small? I
No,
thought I
no,
did.
they were like just
The-
regular sized bubbles.
Yeah, the
with the small
bubbles are
text.
regular size.
Ah, okay. Well, that's my bad then. Then I
Yeah.
should have done that.
But
Again, that was a creative choice that that didn't land.
and let's see. No, yeah, I think everything was pretty cool. Like, I know you're trying to keep it short, like a 40 turned 80, but I kind of felt like the kids should have had like a little bit more. Like I said, with the levels, it's just getting difficult.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that had another colleague of mine who did read it, who did DM me and told me, I wish you would have done more with the kids.
And,
I wish
Yeah.
you would have expanded a bit more with them, because then we would have felt a deeper connection. And I was like, yeah, but again, you know, that would have had to cause, you know, 5 more pages, 10 more pages, and Gambino and I were like, we're sticking with 80. We're not gonna go over 80, so we had to stick with it. But so I was pretty much stuck at that
then
point.
there's another scene. I think it's when you scroll down. There's a scene where someone gets hit over with a wrench, but it doesn't. I guess you don't see that it's like an Angela, but another henchman.
Where here or like in the
Uh,
I think about like past level 3 where this happens.
Yeah, like so. Is it this dude right here? on
Yeah,
the
this dude right here
walkie-talkie
in the ladder
that hits him.
that hits him. Yeah,
Is he an agent or?
yeah, he's part of the crooked crew.
Yeah, because there's both on
this guy.
the
No,
ship.
this guy right here. You talking about this guy?
Yeah, so he that guy right there. He's part of the crew.
No, he's just like a regular guy who's not part of it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Like he's just like some, because not everyone's in on it. It's only like a small little faction of the crew members who are part of it.
That makes sense, because on one of the last panels where there was a bunch of guys rushing to like the kids
Right?
and
Yeah,
stuff, I'm
yeah.
like,
Those are the people who have no idea that there's even an operation going on the ship.
Okay.
Because Milo is the one in charge, so he's the one that makes sure. Okay, I'm gonna get my boys, make sure that they're doing what they have to do over here, while I keep everyone else who's not part of it doing their thing over there, and we just keep it separate. That was the idea behind it.
All right, sounds good, man. Yeah, and I think you did a really great job, because the part of storytelling is you're supposed to take us on a ride, and I think you did that. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Wasn't.
I hope
like,
I did.
And it honestly kind of felt like, oh man, this could actually be happening, like somewhere in like, where were they in Florida, right? So the Atlantic.
They were in Florida, yeah, in Florida.
So I'm like, okay, like they're long gone. Like I feel like I'm on this boat with them, and you did a great job as a writer to convey that across the pages. So bravo for that.
Thank you.
And yeah, man, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
all right. Cool.
You want to stick around, or you got to go? It's up to you, man. If you want to stick around.
No, I was just gonna watch you guys anyways. Might as well be on it.
Okay.
All right. You can
Ben,
chime in anytime you need.
Since you came on, you know, or Kyle, you want to finish?
Yeah, finish going through it. Let's just finish going through.
Okay.
All right. And
Yeah,
then
let him go
Ben
through, and
can
then
give his
you could
Yeah.
chime in, Ben, if you want.
All right. So yeah, some of the points that were brought up.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Kyle. Do you want me to share the screen, Ben?
Yeah. Keep
No,
going.
we can do that after.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it. Go for it, Kyle.
Okay, so yeah, so we're in the final steps right now, you know, final phase, final boss fight. And I do think that getting the Milo to be like kind of calling her out on stuff was pretty cool. I kind of like that. Now the one thing that I kind of found hard to believe was that out of this whole time, out of all the goons that she was facing, she didn't bother to pick up another clip of ammo or like another gun or something like that. You know,
No, that's
she
a
only
fair
had
point.
that gun.
My thinking was she's beat up at this point. She's tired because she's been running, not walking, running throughout, you know, to take out these other goons who are looking for her before they can find her. And she's hurt. And so you're not thinking straight when you're pretty much in pain. You're almost there. It felt like I've been telling you guys throughout the whole show. She's at the end, just like Gambino and I were just like, let's just go, dude. We're here at the end. We're almost there. Let's just keep on push this through, and let's just go and get this done. And that's how I feel. That was my thinking when I wrote this scene, because Gambino and I did talk about that. We did bring it up in our last, comb through, and and he brought up the same point that you just did. And I said, well, look, here's my thinking, is that she's in pain, she's not thinking straight, and she's right. She has one more guy left, and so she thinks, hopefully, she thinks she still has a full clip, but then she finds out that she doesn't. So her goal is not just to save herself, is to save the kids. That's her main goal, is to get the kids to safety. And even if that involves her dying or being killed by him, at least she's going to try to take him down before, he gets the kids. That was my thinking when I wrote that.
This line right here that he says, you could be the cause of your loved one's tragic suicides. I was like, dude, like, that's how you know that they're powerful.
Yeah. And that's the, I for years, I researched, human trafficking before I wrote this book. And it was just because it was, I'm sure for those of you who've watched me on 656 have mentioned it, over time, which is I was deep into conspiracy theories for a long time. And so the Franklin cover-up was the eye-opener when I read that book. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that book or not, but it's pretty much about child trafficking that happened in the 80s in Nebraska, that involved a Republican named Larry King, not the TV host, just a totally different dude. And that really, I was like, whoa, that really not threw me off, but it just opened my eyes to this is real. People do this. Did they actually do this kind of thing? And that culminated to just more research. And so the suicide stuff, that stuff is all real, man. That's and I thought I wanted to add it in to kind of, point, should have lied to it. And so I thought, okay, I could just do it in the line. And I thought, thankfully it worked. It had left an effect on you. So it worked that I wrote that line.
Nice. So, anyway, going back to the story, I do think that one of the things that I thought of is that, we're in the final act, the final boss fight and stuff like that. We're, book 3, I guess you would say. I feel like maybe, obviously the stakes are elevated, but I think maybe there could have been room for maybe even more, one more notch more of elevated stakes. Like maybe there's an explosion on the ship or something like that. Maybe they recaptured either one or a couple of the kids again, and they're holding them hostage again. Something along those lines of maybe, elevate it just a tad more. You can even maybe get to a little bit fantastical, maybe, and still kind of keep it grounded, because, you're at that stage where it's kind of like with Die Hard. It's like the roof blowing up. You got the helicopters coming in, things are progressively getting way more out of hand. And so I feel like, while this is still, having her go up against Milo and the final showdown is great, I think we could have gotten a little bit more emphasis on the stakes at hand.
No, that's fair. Again,
I know, but that had more pages. I know.
We're stuck on the pages, the page count.
Right. Well,
if Gambino was up for it, for sure. I would have written a scene where the stakes are a little higher, because now, oh crap, this is the final obstacle, but we just had to stick with what we had.
Yeah. And I think too, because I read one of the first drafts of this, and in the draft that I read, there was hardly any narration on the part of Angela in this section. And so now, reading it again, I think it really does, because, seeing her perspective of this situation and reading into what she's thinking really helps me connect with her a lot more. And I kind of wish that, we got more of it throughout the beginning of it, but around section 2, it kind of was mainly just the action and not much inner dialogue from her.
Do
I
you
think
think it would have been more effective if I did add the dialogue in the second book, the second level?
a little bit. I think, just to just to keep with the consistency of it. But it works without it because she is just focused on doing that. I think with the inner dialogue, maybe you could have also used that to maybe use that as a way to give more connection between her and the kids. Like maybe give some
Yeah.
background into why she's caring. So I mean, obviously they're kids and she wants to protect them, but maybe like go into a little bit more about why she's protecting them, or maybe off screen in between all this stuff, she talked and got to know him a little bit more, and you can like have her go through some of the kids and stuff like that. We get to know him a little bit more. I don't know, throwing stuff out there like that.
Okay. No, that's good.
But yeah, the fight between them, I think, is really cool. You get a lot of expression out of the character.
Yeah.
It was really good to see, and especially seeing the final shot not coming from Angela herself, but from one of the kids also was pretty impactful. Like look at the expression of him, yelling
Yeah.
at Milo. You really feel his pain right there. And so, and then of course we get the shot with his dramatic falling backwards,
the final monster.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, can you elaborate on something real quick? I'm sorry, Kyle.
Go ahead.
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Feel free to jump in anytime.
Yeah, anytime.
What happened between Milo and the kid Ignacio? Because he says, "You like me, don't you? I treated you gently." Didn't he?
It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Oh, what a dick.
Yeah. That's the reason why Gambino drew him like that. It was that anger of, because again, I didn't want to throw it in the face. I wanted to keep it subtle. And again, I wanted the reader to pick up on it subtly and interpret it the way they would interpret it without me having to have Milo say it outright.
Right.
That was the first draft of it, but then I was like, no, it's I think it'd be a lot more powerful if I just keep it like hinting at it, so that way the reader can be like, oh, and when they realize like, oh, this dog, dude, he's a monster, and now you have no sympathy towards this guy.
Well, you just caught mine in real time, bro.
Oh yeah, good. I'm glad.
Because I read
also this also was another clue.
That?
This was another clue here. The all the clicks. He's still pulling the trigger even if he's empty.
Yeah. Okay,
I think. Go ahead, Freddie.
No, that was it.
Oh, I was just thinking that possibly if there was more pages, obviously a lot could have been done more. But I think maybe fleshing out his character and that sort of dynamic. I know you wanted to keep it subtle, but you could also planted some more seeds of that in the beginning, so we could have got a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or maybe some of the maybe even having Milo have a few inner dialogue moments of of him thinking about this kid or something specifically, or maybe when he's calling over the phone, it's like, did all of them escape? Type of that. Emphasizing that maybe there was one in there that was different, something like that.
All right.
But then the final double page spread of her with all the kids. That's great. A nice tender moment right there.
Yeah.
And then the epilogue, the final bit there. I like the wink wink nudge nudge cameos in it.
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, there's Gambino back there pushing the cart.
And
I had noticed that one.
Yeah, he's back there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fun. I didn't notice that either until he pointed out. I caught you right away. but I didn't catch Gambino back there until you pointed him out. So he was like a real cameo. You really had to be looking for him to see him. But
yeah, I thought it was a nice gesture by Anthony because when he sent me the page, I was like, hey, wait a second. What is it? This is supposed to be me, bro? He's like, yeah, man, you're in the comic book now. I was like, all right, cool, sweet.
Awesome.
And then the epilogue with the to be continued. Oh, this is just the beginning type of thing, and I like it. It's subtle. I like that you get not left on a cliffhanger because the story's resolved, but potential that there could be more, and it kind of emphasized with that last page of like the end for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like that we do see her, all bandaged up and getting better and stuff like that. I would like to have known too that, I mean, we get the text dialogue with it, with the kids and stuff like that, but I kind of maybe want to see like them also getting,
oh, right.
maybe a little bit more as well.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But you're right. I should have done that.
So, or maybe the main kid, the boy kid. Oh, I forgot what was it. Did he have a name?
Ignacio.
Yeah. So, but yeah, overall, I think that it was a very solid story. Lots of action, which is great, which is something that modern books don't even have. It flowed very, very well. Hopefully, you guys also thought that as well. You can give your review and stuff like that and what you thought, but I personally enjoyed it, and I really did. I liked all the dialogue between it, and there's a few things, like I said, the consistency of her sizing or some facial expressions and stuff like that, which it's gonna happen, but it's just things that I noticed when going through it. But solid story. Definitely definitely worth the pickup in my book.
Whew, scared there for a second.
Kyle approved, man.
So
Ben,
Freddie, you gave your thoughts about.
Oh, Ben, so worth pickup or?
In the words of Kyle, I'll give it a meh. No, just kidding. I like it.
Yeah. So.
No, I dug it, bro. Like I said, it suspended my belief. I was in the boat with them. I was in the container with them. I remember when you were first doing your campaign, I was like, you know what you should do? You should do like a stunt where you just kidnap some people, put them in a container. And then when they find them, like Vigilant Fury coming soon.
Yeah. Oh, that would be a cool commercial. Like a little.
Yeah. I'm in there, bro. You got me.
Nice. Cool. Ben?
It's worth the pickup. I'll just preface by saying that.
All right.
But I had the same thoughts that Freddie had. And so I did this earlier. And it's it would be the first page.
Oh, yeah.
With this dialogue cutting to her like breaking out.
Oh, yeah. I dig that. That's cool.
And that way you kind of create some intrigue, like, okay, what's going on? Where is she? What's going on? And then you jump into her backflash.
Do her in the okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would have saved me 5 pages for sure.
Yeah.
For sure would have saved me 5 pages. And then I would have had more room to play with. But well, great. I'm glad that both you, Freddie, and Ben, came on. I was expecting, to be honest, I was expecting, just a few people to come on, because I feel like most people, it's very daunting to tell someone to their face whether or not something worked for them or not work for them. And they might get nervous and what have you. So hopefully, the 24 people who have been watching, maybe you'll get some courage and the next time you'll come on, because Kyle is going to review Reset Protocol down the line, because he didn't have time to read the book and review it.
Well, I read the book. It's just getting all my thoughts.
Yeah, there you go.
All ready to go
getting your
stuff
thoughts
like that.
So, for the both of you, I sent those out today, so you should get those books soon. So you should get Reset Protocol very soon.
I have a question for Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, how did it feel to see your brother get shot dead, bro?
It was a little bit
A
cathartic.
lifelong dream fulfilled.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, Justin, Freddie said it, not me, man.
Actually, all those bullets would have
How did it
missed
feel?
because Justin's like 3 feet shorter,
Mhm.
and so they all would have gone over his head. He would have been all right.
He matrix dodge them all.
Yeah.
With minimum effort. Unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe. No.
What are we gonna do?
Well,
Well, now
I'm
I
glad
can't
that
see
you all enjoyed Vigilant Fury. It was definitely a passion project, even though it wasn't like a project that I had in mind for like years or anything like that. It was something that it was, again, a challenge to see if I can develop something quickly, because it did take me about, I would say, maybe 2 to 3 months to develop it, to actually sit there and outline, okay, here's what's going to happen, and then revise it, edit it, revise it, edit it, and then finally get it to where we have it here at the 80 pages. Well, first it was 40, and then as I kept rewriting the script, it went up, started going up, 45, 50, 55, 60, to the point where I was like, oh, dude, I can't cut this. And maybe next time.
Gambino had
ahead.
a full head of hair before, and,
Yeah.
and then when it got to like 80 pages,
that was
it
my
was all
fault.
gone. Yeah.
No, I think what I should have done, which I'll do going forward, is the next time that does happen, I'm gonna just hire an editor and go, hey, can you read this and see if we can like cut this down and still keep the essence of the story intact without having to feel like it's rushed through. Because that's what it felt like when I kept reading it at 40. I was like, it just feels rushed through. There's no time for the reader to feel anything with this version of it. It was still action packed, but it was like I wanted something the reader can latch onto in terms of emotion. And so, I just got ballooned to 80, and and also, bless Gambino's heart, like he stuck with me at any point. If you guys, I know, Freddie, are you still going to work on your stuff, Freddie? You still working on some stuff that I remember you mentioned that a few times.
Yeah, right now working on a Western. I wrote it already. I just have to draw it.
Oh, you're drawing your own stuff?
I'm gonna try, bro, because I got an art pad. I used to draw back then, and a buddy of mine, he kind of commissioned me to draw a piece for him for his YouTube channel. And I did it like a couple of days ago, and I'm like, okay, I still kind of got it. Is because I kind of put the pen down and picked up a basketball.
Okay.
And it's been since like middle school, probably, since I've been drawing.
Well, it's muscle memory from what I hear. So, if you just keep going at it, it'll eventually come back to you. But for those who commission artists to draw, a lot of them, if you don't follow through on your deal or on your agreement, they could bounce, and Gambino could have bounced whenever at any point when I kept telling him it's going to be 50 actually. Oh, actually it's going to be 60 now, and he could have been like, you know what, dude, I'm out. That's not what I agreed to. I'm out of here. Right. And he didn't. He stuck with me.
And
because
changed his style.
And he changed the style midway through. So here, I'm going to show this. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about for those watching at home. So the original style was kind of heavily influenced by Frank Miller, Sin City. That was what we're going for.
I see that.
Yeah. So I'm going to zoom in here real quick so I can show you guys. So see how I personally liked it. I was like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And one of the reasons why I hired Gambino when I put out the word on Twitter that I was looking for an artist for a one shot was because he had something about his art that I liked. The fundamentals of story and sequentials were there. And then when he told me, oh, this is gonna be my first official comic book work, I was like, well, it seems like you got it pretty down because you're kind of capturing exactly how I kind of envision it in my head based on, the script I sent you. But yeah, this is the original style. Halfway through, he got, I don't know exactly what happened, but he just wasn't feeling it anymore. He wasn't happy with what he was doing. It just wasn't fulfilling for him. And so he did an ink wash piece for, I forgot who it was.
Oh, it was for he goes by Rooster Puncher.
Yeah, Rooster Puncher. That I don't know his actual name, but yeah, Rooster Puncher.
Spencer Desmond.
Spencer Desmond. Thank you, man. And I was like, whoa, dude, this is a great ink wash piece. I didn't know you drew. You could draw an ink wash. And he was like, yeah, neither did I. so I was like, oh damn, I wish I would have known, because maybe we could have done Vigilant Fury in this style. And then I guess that must have triggered it, because no longer than a week later, he's like, yeah, you know what? I think I might do that actually. And I was like, you sure? Because we're 20 pages in, and like we're pretty much going, we're having good, the pace is going good at that point.
Mhm.
And he was like, yeah, I'm just not feeling fulfilled, man. I just can't, I don't feel like I'm doing my best work with this style. And I was like, all right, well, I guess we'll update our backers and hope for the best. And thankfully the backers stuck with us and didn't cancel the orders. In fact, some of them actually did reach out to me privately in DM and said, hey, what's going on here, man? And I said, okay, here's the deal, man. Here's what's going on. So I sent him this page, and he was like, oh, okay, I'll wait. That's cool. I'm digging it. And so I was like, oh, cool. So people responded well to it, and I was happy about that. But that's pretty much what happened with this project. It's a circumstance where that happens again during the creative process. You start something, and then something else clicks during the middle of producing it. And that's why I always tell the artists I work with, just stick with your instinct and your gut. If something feels right, go with it and just keep on doing it. And if people respond to it, then you got something. And respond to it, when you mean by respond to, I mean like positively, like the way they react to it. My wife is the my test runner, right? So when I pitch something to her and she goes, oh, that's pretty cool, then I know it sucks. Because the reaction I wanted was like, oh wow, that sounds really great. Then it's like, okay, that's okay, I got something here. Yeah. But when she's being nice and goes, no, yeah, that was pretty good. All right, back to the drawing board I go. And so yeah, it worked out, thankfully. And again, Anthony was gracious and great that he stuck with it. He got a little burnt out, but he championed through it. He soldiered on. And now that he has this book under his belt, I think he's ready, man. He's ready to go out there and pretty much showcase what he has, what he can do, what he's capable of. And this was definitely a school of hard knocks for Anthony for Vigilant Fury. But yeah, that's all I got. Oh,
I think now too, just additional to that, if you've been following him, he's sort of done a little bit of a combination between the two styles.
Yeah. Funny thing about that is when I saw his piece, and he's like, I figured out how I could do black now with ink wash, and I was like, great. Right at the end too. Right at the end when he finished Vigilant Fury, he's like, I know. Okay, now I could do black with ink wash, like complete black. Because
he probably figured it out while he was working on your book, and he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna change it again.
No, we already agreed we weren't going to change it. But for the next book that we're going to be working on, we're definitely going to utilize that, and it's going to be pretty tremendous. Because I'm really excited about the next project we're going to be working on. A one shot, 40 page. Like I said earlier, I'm going to try to rewrite it and get it down to 35 pages. One shot. Color, I don't know if it's going to be in color or not. I don't think he's comfortable with coloring his own stuff yet. But we'll see.
He's starting to. I saw some of his work that he's trying to do.
If I were to get a pretty cool dude from Ben, I know the idea or drawing this track.
That's not true. Well, maybe.
It's meh.
Yeah.
That's my version of man. Pretty cool, dude.
Yeah. And I'm glad you guys are here, because I think part of the major problems that we have in the industry is that we don't have a reader base that can tell us meh, or if it's not working for me, or I like the first half, but then the second half kind of fell off. What happened there? Or that kind of deal.
Explain this to me. Why was this like this? Or
right?
Yeah, or or maybe they don't even like it. Like, no, it's not very good. And I think in the age of social media and also live streaming, like we're doing here and YouTube and all that, you know, the indie creators have to grow a thicker skin, you know, and actually take the constructive criticism from our peers and also like, yeah, from our readership too. Like people who actually bought, like, you know, you both of you backed the project. You guys spent money on me. You took the chance. And you know, thankfully I delivered. And if I didn't deliver, I would hope you guys would have been honest with me and tell me like, yeah, you know, it didn't really work for me. This kind of stale here, or the dialogue was choppy there. And the reason why Kyle is the co-host of this show is because, you know, when I gave him a copy of Ghetto Dragon, like he like, oh, I read it and here are my thoughts, and he gave me a total breakdown. It was like a constructive meh.
It was a constructive meh.
It was
to
like,
say the
I wish you would have
least.
done this like this, and then with all the stuff he was telling me, I was like, yeah, you were right. You're right. I should have done that. I could have done that, but I didn't think of it. And again, so it's just one of those things where I was like, oh wait, you sat there and took criticism like a man. We're all the defensive drama and name calling, yeah. And that's why
There was, you just didn't see it because I was all behind the scenes.
We're saving that for X. Yeah.
yeah. We're live on X right now too. It's both YouTube and X. But I think that you know, that's what's hurting the indie sphere is the fact that a lot of creators in our space just for whatever reason can't take it. And I think that's a mistake, because how will you grow as a storyteller if you don't have people telling you like, hey man, this isn't very good, and you're just going to keep wasting your money. And again, you know, I understand when you have a fan base already that are going to support you no matter what, it's kind of tough to kind of take the word of other readers who actually understand how to read a comic book properly, I guess.
Right.
That's, you know, the
Yeah.
best way to describe it. So yeah, I'm glad you guys got here, dude. I'm glad you guys came on and gave me your thoughts as to what you think would have worked better for Vigilant.
Yeah, man. When I got the book, you know, I saw, you know, it's 80 pages, and I saw that it's broken up into 3 different chapters. I thought, well, you know, I'll read it in 3 breaks. As soon as I started reading, I didn't stop until I got to the end.
Like, good.
Like I just blew through it so fast. It didn't feel like 80 pages. It just went by so fast. And I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was really good.
Oh, I'm glad. That was the goal. That was the goal for people. Once you start reading any story of mine, I don't want you to put it down for any reason.
Yeah.
And so that's the goal going forward for anything that I write. And so hopefully you guys will back me on the next one. I'm gonna launch Ghetto Dragon in a few months. I'm still working on some things. Yeah, I'm still working on some things for that one. But once I get it all settled, then yeah, I'm gonna do a print run, and I'm probably gonna do what I did for Reset Protocol, which is do like a special foil cover, one of a kind, you know, collector's thing. And you know, I think it was you also, Freddie, who reached out to me and told me, hey, you should have offered a reader's copy for the
because I got the foil one and I wanted both of them, right? So I knew that there's just one, the regular cover, and then the foil cover, and I'm like, you should have had a third one. You probably left a lot of money on the table for that one. For sure.
I did. No, I did. And when you mentioned that, I was like, oh, see, I didn't even think of that. Like, I didn't even think of that at all.
Dragon one, bro. What you should do is the tiers of like white belt, brown belt, all the way to black belt.
Ooh, I like that.
That's a good idea. I like that.
That's a great idea.
TM right there, Freddie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Copyright, you know. Every
no, that's a good idea.
That's a really good idea. I like that.
That's a really good idea. I like that. So I might actually utilize that. But it won't be that many tiers for the book 1 because it's already done, and it's mainly to help me fund for book 2, because book 2 is almost done in the pencil stage. So I'm just waiting for the artist to finish that book, and hopefully book 2, when they launch book 2, that's the one I'm gonna go all out for. That's the one I'm gonna really push to get that high number and finally complete the first Ghetto Dragon saga of book 1 and book 2. And hopefully that could start up the franchise for that character.
It's looking good, man. What you posted of issue 2 looks it's great. Those pencils.
Dude, I can't wait for you guys to see it. Kyle is the only one that's been able to have access to the whole thing, and he's like, "Whoa, dude, that's Chepe is like killing it with his pages."
Wait until he's showing me a bunch of the panels and a lot of the, you know, pencils and stuff like that. And I'll tell you right now, you're in for a treat when you see
Yeah.
it.
He's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it
I
looks
can't
great,
wait for you
man.
guys to see it. And also, I you could tell Chip is having a lot of fun drawing it too, which is even better because that's what you want as a writer. You want the artist who's drawing your story to have a lot of fun drawing it, because then that's how you bring out their best work. It doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like, oh
Right.
yeah, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, I could do this.
So-
yeah. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. I could do it this way too. I could draw this panel that and this angle and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's gonna be great. Other than that, dude, I don't have anything else. Kyle, do you have any other lasting thoughts or final thoughts?
I mean, just kind of go over, overview of what, we talk, about the book and stuff like that. It's definitely worth the pickup. There's a lot of great things about this story. It's very much like a Die Hard on a boat, and there's a lot of references to those types of movies, of escape movies, of action movies. And I think Angela and this story is very well told. It reads very well. You get a lot of action, you got a lot of story, a lot of heart too in this story. And while no story is completely perfect, I think this one is pretty close that you can. And I definitely think it's worth the pickup. And if you haven't already, definitely try and read it. It's definitely something that's worth your time. And always to remember, while you're reading comic books and you're out there and reading comic books, collecting comic books, build those experiences. Get, we're here, we're talking, see, everybody's having fun. We're talking, we're engaging with the community.
Yeah.
We're getting these experiences. We're meeting new people. And it's always better like this, always getting to know people and having fun. So I think building those experiences and reading comic books, thumbs up, always doing that.
All right. What about you guys? We got any final thoughts before we call it a night?
No, I just questioned, why was it smaller though? I was kind of expecting a big one.
Yeah.
Wait, pause.
No, that's a valid question. That was my intention from the beginning. And then Anthony one day called me on the phone. Like, he actually called me, not text or email, and said, I actually want to do this in the smaller, like, manga size. And I was like, why? Why do you want to do that? And he's all, because it's compact. It's the compact version. It'll be easier to ship, and on top of that, like, I think he's just said that it just makes sense to me. And the fact that we might use Amazon, I think Amazon does use that cut for that size. It's easier for them to use that cut, I guess, because they do more novels and self-publishing stuff than comics. And so I was like, okay, well, let's give it a shot. Let's see how it looks. And I dig it. I at first I was like, I don't know, man. I kind of want the full size, like, graphic novel. Like, that's I think that's what most people want. And he's like, yeah, but I think this might be a little better. Let's give it a shot. It's going to be different.
But let's not give it to them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so let's give it a shot, because we're going to stand out, because it's not going to look like every other book that's being
true. Yeah.
on the crowdfunding sites. And I was like, okay, all right. So he sold me on it. And I think it's proven to be, it's starting to, like, now I'm starting to turn around and go, yeah, okay, I think we should do that. Maybe for the third chance campaign on Kickstarter, because we're going to do a Kickstarter in the summer for Vigilant Fury. We might go back to the graphic novel or the size, the actual size, or we might stick with that. We have to, talk about that. But because I told him too, I was like, well, I do want people to look at your artwork as well. By doing that, by shrinking it, you're gonna kind of take away, the appreciation that readers are gonna have for your work, the hard work you put into this book. But he was like, no, I'm fine with that. I was like, all right, it's your book, it's your art, man. Do what you want. But yeah, that's the reason why it was at that size.
Cool.
Was it not that? Now I'm curious. Was it not something that you like? Is that your would you prefer?
Yeah, it was a preference. I mean, it's still a great book, bro. But like, I was expecting like a normal size comic. But
yeah, same here.
Cool. Okay, no, I'll definitely consider that. I'll definitely consider that for the Kickstarter, for sure.
Yeah,
Don't
I
block
thought so
us.
as well.
That's it.
No, this is what it's all about. I want to know if everyone, if I do hear more people like, hey, why is it this size? And I might reconsider. I'm like, well, they're not really digging it. We probably should give them the regular size graphic novels.
Right.
So
Yeah, like I don't see it as a negative. I just would have preferred the regular size just to enjoy the artwork better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind when I talk to Gambino again, because we're gonna have another phone call in a few weeks and actually hash out the strategy going forward. So, all right, cool.
I do
Man,
like the texture of the actual
Yeah.
cover though.
I did too. I really dug
Yeah.
the way it came out.
Yeah, that's
And Gambino designed the cover and the whole book. He's the one that
He
designed
did a
it,
good
so
job with the
He did a
design.
great job. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looked legit when I got the proof copy. I was like, oh, dude, this is gonna be great. This looks great. So cool. Great guys. Again, thank you for coming on and giving me your thoughts, sharing your thoughts about Vigilant Fury. And there's a lot of things I'm going to take into account as well. Don't think I'm just going to write you guys off and be like, yeah, I'm going to do whatever I want. Screw these guys.
Screw you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm actually
Who
going to take
cares about
into
them?
account because I do want to, get to the level where I do compete with my peers, and when I mean by peers, I mean like the bigger creators, actually get to that level of like, I'm also capable of reaching the same level as like a EVS or even the pros, like the Mark Wades of the world or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping to reach that level. And thank you again for the people who backed Vigilant Fury and Research Protocol. You probably watched the show, and hopefully the next time I do open up the show, you guys come on and let me know your thoughts, because I do want to hear from you guys.
And also remember to like, comment,
Yes.
subscribe.
I'm not a
follow us
YouTuber,
on
man.
Twitter, Instagram,
Right.
all the social medias. We want to hear from you. We want your feedback. We want to, be able to engage with you, like we said. And one of those things is, it's a give and take, a two-way street. You got to give some engagement as well. So,
Good point. Thank you, Kyle.
You'll get what you get out of this. Put what you put in. So.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. There's going to be a lot more content coming your way on this channel. Kyle and I have been talking about what we can, other things to do to add, not just to do the live streams, but to actually make actual content that's comic book centric.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, keep an eye out for that, because we are going to start doing some cool stuff that we hope that will get more people involved here when we do go live. So yeah, with that said, thank you guys again. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on the next one. You take care. Peace.
Bye, guys.
See ya.